This is Ishita Shukla. We are presenting our paper. The research paper is titled Blockchain-Based Approach to Foster Student Engagement on Campus. The authors are Ritu Gala, Ishita Shukla, Nidhi Kable, and Revati Vijay Raghavan from the college Veer Mata Jijabai Technological Institute, Mumbai. I'll share my screen now.
Yep, we can see your screen.
Okay. The presentation is structured in accordance with the sections in our research paper. The contents of the presentation shall be introduction, related work in terms, proposed methodology, implementation and evaluation of the proposed framework, future work, and conclusion. We start by introducing what student engagement is. Since our title says a blockchain-based approach to foster student engagement on campus, what is student engagement? Student engagement is any activity which involves student participation, like pursuing research on campus. This research can be a final year project, an industry-funded project, or any other project that involves research and is a part of the curriculum. Other activities which are student engagement are taking part in fests, helping fellow students by tutoring or informally, and taking up on campus positions of responsibility. The use cases that we have chosen for research incentivization are research incentivization for BTech students and temporary on-campus positions of responsibilities for these students. An additional use case that we have implemented is the need-based crowdfunding for VJTI members. To facilitate this, we have used a blockchain. We have extended the framework of VJTI chain, which is a proof of authority blockchain that has been functional in VJTI College, Mumbai, India since 2019. The currency native to VJTI chain is VJ coin, and one VJ coin is equal to 1 Indian rupee. So why did we choose a blockchain in the first place? Our primary motive for choosing a blockchain was because we wanted to learn more about the technology, and we thought that it would be a good experience to have a blockchain initiative for the campus. The key characteristics of a blockchain are transparency and immutability. Since a blockchain is transparent, every student would be able to see why certain funds are being transferred and to which student for what reason. And since it's immutable, the data of each transaction, that is the amount and the reason, will not be tampered with. Every use case that we have implemented involves a fund transfer, and this transfer of currency uses a medium that is this blockchain. Since VJTI chain was already present and in occasional use in VJTI, we thought of extending that framework to these promising use cases. We think that the creation of a circular economy with this implementation would be an experience that would be good for the students of a technological institute. A circular economy is an economy where resources are consumed within the same ecosystem that they are created in. In our case, the students can spend the VJ coins that they earn either at the photocopy center or to buy stationeries, at the library to clear their pending dues, or at the canteen to buy food items. We also believe that this system serves as a good base for future use cases that can be extended later on what we have already built. What is VJTI chain? As I explained earlier, it's a proof of authority blockchain that has been functional since February 2019 in VJTI College. Students and teachers could download the VJTI blockchain app to send or receive funds to or from their wallets. The second section of the paper further expounds upon the terms that I have used earlier, like proof of work or proof of authority, blockchain and what exactly those terms mean, what their components are, and what research has been done in the field of student participation for incentivizing those activities. Previous work done in this field involves the use of blockchain as a content library, where it essentially is a distributed or shared database used as a repository of learning material. One application called EcoLink stores the hash of verified data of students, teachers, or educational organizations, and this verified data cannot be tampered with. Here we are using blockchain as a record which verifies the integrity of data stored on it. One more application includes use of blockchain for evaluating assignments. Here, instead of teachers continuously monitoring students' work, the data on behalf of the students and the teachers is updated on the blockchain itself, and there's no continuous monitoring. The data is transparent, so both the parties can see the data stored on the blockchain. Another application involves use of blockchain for academic degree management and for monetization of academic skills, which is similar to the motive of our project, which incentivizes academic activities. In particular, one research paper uses VJTI chain, and the paper is titled Blockchain for Academic Governance. It leverages the power of the proof of authority consensus mechanism for different aspects of academic governance, like storage of student records and their verification and assignment incentivization. Now we come to the components and features of the blockchain. The components of blockchain are as follows: a node, which is the smallest independent entity in a blockchain; a transaction, which is the transfer of any value unit between the nodes; a block, which is an aggregate of transaction plus other data; a chain, which is a blockchain, which is a link of blocks; miners, which are nodes that add new blocks; and consensus, which is a set of rules for adding these new blocks based on certain parameters. A blockchain has the following features. It's distributed, which means that all the copies of the blockchain that are accepted are in sync. A blockchain is secure, meaning that its integrity is verified of all the data that's stored in it. It's tamper resistant, meaning that it's infeasible to entirely mutate it. Tamper resistant does not mean that it cannot be tampered with. It means that it's infeasible to tamper it in entirety, such that it can replicate the utility of the existing blockchain as accepted. Lastly, it's transparent, which means that the data stored on it can be viewed by all entities. What is a consensus mechanism? A consensus mechanism is a set of rules that decides the parameters on which certain blocks and their data is considered valid or invalid. Consensus mechanisms that are already in use are proof of work, which is used by Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Monero; proof of stake, which is used by Ethereum 2.0 and Dash; and there are other consensus mechanisms like proof of authority, proof of vote, and proof of burn. VJTI chain uses proof of authority. Proof of authority is a consensus mechanism where, unlike proof of work or proof of stake, all nodes do not have an equal say in deciding which blocks are valid and which are not. There are only certain nodes which are trusted enough to be authority nodes, and they're also known as validators or admins. Proof of authority mechanism is characterized by a high transaction rate, predictable time intervals between mined blocks, and obviating, that's eliminating, the prerequisite of high performance hardware. In our case, all these characteristics were suitable for our application, and since VJTI chain already had proof of authority, we thought that it would be a good candidate for a blockchain. The third section in our paper elucidates the proposed system. We have 3 use cases, of which the first one is research incentivization for BTech students. In the current scenario, we see that there is scope for students to pursue research under the guidance of their mentors. The research activities, like I said earlier, could be research that's a part of the curriculum or externally funded projects done in college. In VJTI College, Mumbai, India, MTech and PhD students have a strong motivation to pursue research since it's included in their curriculum. But BTech students do not have such a mandate. Nevertheless, at present, opportunities do exist for these BTech students to take part in research under the guidance of different mentors in their department. And this precisely is what we are targeting. We wanted to incentivize this participation. Why did we want to incentivize it? We think that if more BTech students pursue research, it exposes them to more experience in their field. They gain additional knowledge from the guidance from their mentors. And if they wish to pursue a career further in research, having this prior experience would help them. It would also create a healthy competitive environment, which would lead to improvement in research quality and perhaps a transformation in attitudes and priorities of the students in a positive direction. And from an institutional point of view, we think that this would improve the reputation of the university, which would in turn improve the institution's ranking, hereby inviting a better cohort of students into the university every year. Before we dive further into what this use case is, we need a way to quantify the research done. For this, we have chosen 2 tasks. First, the completion of bi-weekly reports, and second, the publication of research paper. Both of these are verified by the mentors, but why is this verification needed in the first place? We need this verification because a certain number of coins are transferred to the student wallet, and this verification ensures that students do not falsify any records given to the system. For instance, the submission of bi-weekly reports earns 100 coins, and the publication of research paper earns 500 coins. These 100 or 500 coins are divided by the total number of students present. The actors in this use case are the students working on the project and the mentor under whom this project occurs. We come to the workflow of the system. Firstly, the student logs into the system and creates a project. The mentor receives an email notification of this project and can choose to accept or deny the project. If the mentor denies the project, then it is deleted from the database. Once the project is verified, the student can submit bi-weekly reports, and the mentor receives an email notification when the students upload reports. The mentor can now provide feedback on this report. After completion, VJ coins are transferred directly to the student's wallet, depending on the rating given by the mentor. Additionally, once the project is completed, the students are prompted to enter their publication details of any research paper that they have published, which after verification results in transferring VJ coins to the student's wallet by the system. Now, to be able to quantify the quality of paper published by the students, we automatically find the impact factor of the journal in which the student publishes his or her research and divided by the total number of authors. This gives us the research rating, which is the first metric. A journal which is of good quality has a higher impact factor. Students can work on multiple research projects in a year, and the aggregate of all these research ratings, that's the first metric, provides us with a student impact score that is a summation of research ratings. These are the 2 metrics that we use to generate a student rank list. It contains all the students' research ratings and the top 3 students at the end of the year. These top 3 rankers automatically get an additional number of VJ coins transferred to their wallets. By doing this, we are promoting healthy competition among students. What you can see now is a snippet of the student dashboard. These are the student projects along with the mentors and the status that's ongoing, not verified or completed. This is the list of student tasks that the student can maintain for his or her personal reference. These are the campus positions, which is a part of the second use case, as shall be explained after this. And this is the current impact score of the student along with the coins earned so far. This is a snippet of the faculty dashboard. The faculty can see which projects they have to verify, which reports they have to grade, and which publications they have to verify. The second use case is the temporary on-campus student positions, along with the subsequent sections of the paper, shall be explained by Ishita.
Thank you, Nidhi. Now, what are these on-campus positions? These positions include assistantships in college amenities like the labs or the library. There is a huge scope for such positions on campus, but right now they are not available for any students at VJTI. On-campus positions or positions of responsibility can help students sustain themselves financially to a certain extent. Students save on a lot of traveling time as the positions are within the campus itself. Quantifying the work done in these PORs is more direct since there would exist a fixed hourly rate. The actors of the system include the student and the supervisor. The workflow of the system is as follows. The supervisor creates a position of responsibility. Students apply for that position of responsibility. The allocation algorithm runs a day prior to the starting date of the POR and can also be run manually by the supervisor. After students are allocated to the POR, the supervisor provides feedback to the students on the system, and this feedback is updated on the database. As mentioned in the workflow, this use case utilizes a positions of responsibility allocation algorithm. What is the need for this? So initially in the database, there are no students, right? When we just start. So there are no students who had applied for positions of responsibility. So students need to be allocated randomly. However, after there are sufficient students who have applied for various PORs, the previous feedback of the students needs to be taken into account. So these previous grades or merits are multiplied by a number between 0.7 to 1, and the top n randomized scores are selected, where n is the number of vacancies. Now, what is the need of randomization? The small factor of randomization ensures that while a significant chance of selection for a POR is based on the merit or the grade of the students the randomization allows students with lower grades to still stand a chance and be given a second chance. So what you see on your screen is basically the supervisor's dashboard, and open positions, ongoing positions, and completed positions can be viewed. The next image that you see is basically the transfer of VJ coins that has happened to the student. So 300 VJ coins are transferred for 6 hours of work. Now let's move on to the third use case, which is need-based crowdfunding. So what is the motivation behind this use case of need-based crowdfunding? At this point in time, there is really no way for students to be able to interact with one another on a single platform where they can benefit from the large student community that exists on campus at VJTI. Seeking funding through an institutionally administered portal may prove much more effective and efficient than other modes like Kickstarter or Wishberry. All transactions, it is needless to say, will happen and will employ VJ coins. The biggest advantage of this functionality is that it facilitates all VJTI members to be able to provide each other with assistance and in turn create a positive environment where each individual has a chance to progress irrespective of factors outside of their control. This use case is helpful for every individual from the institute who may need financial assistance due to many different reasons. The beneficiaries benefit from receiving assistance from the fellow VJTIans, but this also promotes a culture of fraternity and support among the students. Some examples of needs may include financial assistance for medical emergencies or for further education. We thought it best to explain this use case using a use case diagram. The users of the functionality can be any member of VJTI, including supervisor, teachers, or staff. Every user can create a post and view any and all updates. They can also edit and close their own posts if they ever wish to. All users may view each other's posts and decide to contribute. You can now see on your screens a screenshot of the crowdfunding dashboard. This dashboard is visible to all different types of users. The basic information about the campaign can be viewed and contributions can be made. Now coming to the overall flow of the system. I will just briefly explain this. So there are three different use cases. With the first use case, we have the user login, and then the user can view their dashboards. Then they can create posts and then donate to other people's posts. Then the same user can also apply for projects and then add projects, update projects, or submit bi-weekly projects. And this project can only be after creating a project, it needs some approval and verification of details needs to happen after the bi-weekly reports are submitted, and then later on the reports are graded by the mentor and the user may receive coins. Okay, so in the third use case, anyone can create a position. Any supervisor can create a position and then allocate positions and then later on grade the positions. Okay, now let's talk about the overall technology stack. Okay, so there are three layers, the application layer, the business layer, and the data layer. In the application layer, we have the browser and whatever is visible to the end user. The front end utilizes CSS, jQuery, and HTML. In the business layer, we have our backend, which consists of a web server built using Flask, Python. The Flask server communicates with VJ Chain using API calls. And also it communicates with an external mailing server using SFTP. In the third layer, which is the data layer, we have a Mongo database deployed on Mongo Atlas, communicating through Mongo Engine with the Python server. Now let's look at the entity relationship diagram, which can help elucidate the structure, the basic structure of the database. So there are data collections for the different types of users. Then for the first use case of research incentivization, we have research project and bi-weekly reports. For the second use case of positions of responsibility, there is one collection for application history and one for the previous, for the total positions of responsibility. And then finally, for the third use case of crowdfunding, we have a collection for posts, and then some utility collections like wallets and user type. So the next steps in this project would be for us to include other use cases like tutoring or organization of workshops. We also plan on introducing a new kind of incentivization, which is going to be non-monetary, And these non-monetary incentivizations can be presented as a proof of excellence by the students in their future endeavors. Now to conclude, we have created here an application to utilize an already well-established blockchain-based coin exchange system inside of the University of VJTI. We aim to encourage students to increase their participation in campus activities, and also any monetary incentives awarded to the students can be utilized within the system or can be withdrawn as per the students' requirements. Now, thank you, and I think we have some time left, so we can entertain questions.
Thank you very much for